Merry Christmas! I wanted to talk to you a little bit about homeschooling around Christmas time. There's one new trend that I really love, and I'm seeing a lot of families take some extra time around Christmas and do something different in December. So they'll stop their regular studies and spend time reading books, singing Christmas carols, making Christmas crafts or other traditions, which I think is nice because it can be a busy season, and so carving out a little extra time in the season, if that means you do some extra work over the summer, I think it's great to have this built-in time. I heard someone describe tradition once as passing on our culture to the next generation, and I think we do that all the time, homeschooling and as mothers and fathers, but especially at Christmas. What better tradition to pass on than the birth of Jesus and that wonderful tradition that we have built in at this time of year. So in the spirit of Christmas, I wanted to read to you one of my favorite passages from Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I try to read this every year with my kids, or watch a movie or go to a play of it, but they always tend to leave this scene out, and it's just one of my favorite because I think it captures home life so beautifully, especially around Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and read a paragraph to you. There were in another scene and place a room, not very large or handsome, but full of comfort. Near to the winter fire sat a beautiful young girl, so like the last that Scrooge believed it was the same, until he saw her. Now a comely matron sitting opposite her daughter. The noise in this room was perfectly tumultuous, for there were more children there than Scrooge in his agitated state of mind could count. And unlike the celebrated herd in the poem, they were not 40 children conducting themselves like one, but every child was conducting itself like 40. The consequences were uproarious beyond belief. No one seemed to care. On the contrary, the mother and daughter laughed heartily and enjoyed it very much, and the latter, soon beginning to mingle in the sports, got pillaged by the young brigands most ruthlessly. What would I not have given to be one of them, though I never could have been so rude? No, no. I wouldn't, for the wealth of all the world, have crushed that braided hair and torn it down, and for the precious little shoe, I wouldn't have plucked it off. God bless my soul to save my life. As to measuring her waist in sport, as they did, bold young brood, I couldn't have done it. I should have expected my arm to have grown round it for a punishment and never come straight again. And yet I should have dearly liked, I own, to have touched her lips, to have questioned her that she might have opened them, to have looked upon the lashes of her downcast eyes and never raised a blush, to have let loose waves of hair, an inch of which would be a keepsake beyond price. In short, I should have liked, I do confess, to have had the lightest license of a child, and yet been man enough to know its value. And I told my children the first time I read this to them, oh, that's what I always wanted. I wanted a house full of noise and children and joy and play and laughter. And my kids, of course, said, then why do you tell us to be quiet all the time? So they are as uproarious as these children, I think, and funny. But there is something that Dickens captures in this, where there is a license, freedom in family for play and laughter and being silly and teasing each other, but also a sense of contemplation and recognizing the worth and the value, that we don't get so caught up in the rush and the busyness that we forget to be like Mary and treasure all these things in our hearts, and to treasure not only the mother but the children also. What a joy it is to be a family and to make traditions. So as it's Christmas Eve right now, maybe you didn't set aside all of the month of December, or you've been rushed or busy or stressed, but I hope as we go into the 12 days of Christmas that you can carve out some time and contemplate and enjoy traditions with your family. I just appreciate you so much and want to see what you grow in your family.